investment you can ever make. Which stock has the potential of becoming very valuable in the future? Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are deeply honored to have Mr. Tan Boon, Invest Editor of the Straits Times and author of Always Have Enough Money, to share his new book, giving us an insight into the daunting yet exciting world of investments and stocks. Mr. Tan, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking the time on a Saturday to be with me today. I hope you all didn't come with the idea of wanting to learn how to become rich today. To tell you frankly, I don't know how to teach people how to become rich. I mean, it's an obvious question that I don't mind admitting to, because if I know how to become rich myself, I won't be here today, right? So just remember this: anybody who try to teach you to become rich, ask them the question, so why are you still here, right? But I do know one thing, and that is to give you guidelines and tips on how not to become poor. This one, I can know with certainty there are ways to avoid becoming poor. Okay, why do I say this? Because if you can avoid being poor, what it means is that for your whole life, you will always have enough money. So this is the purpose of my book, to tell you what are the ways to always have enough money. It's a very deep, provoking sentence. It's not just simple. It's like, what do you mean by enough? It depends on your lifestyle. If you are a multi-millionaire, then in that case, having enough means having millions of dollars. If you are an average person, you can still have a good life, because having enough money means that, like I said, you will never be short of things. Okay, I wrote this report in the Straits Times last Sunday. I don't know how many of you have read it. Essentially, it's a very interesting... Yes? Thank you. Basically, this is a very unusual case involving a couple who were fighting over a $1 million hongbao. The couple was splitting, and in the end, they went up to court to fight over this. Now, the question is this: why do people even need to fight over money? The key thing that I have gleaned from my years working in the Straits Times, and also because of my background, I'm a graduate of the NUS Law faculty, so I'm trained as a lawyer. My training enables me to ask a lot of questions. And this is the skill that I hope to impart to you through my book. Because in order to be good in money management, you must be able to ask questions. What is your right? How much do I need? Do I have enough for retirement? Questions involving money cannot be about estimated approximation. Because when you go to a shop to, say, buy an iPhone, you ask the seller, how much is this? The person will tell you $1,129.99. It's precise, exactly, no ambiguity. This is the state of money. When you want to manage money, you must know everything that concerns money. Because if you don't, sometimes you end up in cases like this. You end up in court fighting over it. Or worse, when you make an investment, people tell you this one will give you a returns of 10%. Most people will just be happy with accepting their answer. But my question to you is, have you ever asked, so how much will I get at the end of it? What is the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Or you're just happy with people telling you that you will make money, but eventually when you don't, then who can you go after? It is your money, your hard-earned money. Because every month, if let's say you're working, when your employer credits your money to your bank account, I'm very, very sure you remember how much money you make every month. If suddenly it's $50 short, you will call HR and ask, how come this month I'm $50 short, right? Everything must be precise. So my question is, when it comes to your own money management, why is it that you should deserve less? Everything must be precise, because when it comes to money, there's no ambiguity. And in order to achieve that, you must know how to ask the right question. And this is what I hope to impart to you through my book and also through my regular column in the Straits Times to make you smarter. Like I say, I cannot teach you how to become rich, but you can become rich yourself if you become smart, because knowledge is certainly more valuable than anything you ever own. So, first question is, how well do you know your money? I pose just these two questions first. How much do you need every month? Seems like an easy answer, right? I mean, it's an easy question that you can answer immediately, but I can guarantee that probably none of you in this room will be able to answer me correctly, unless you do certain steps. Second question is, how much will you have when you retire? I give you the general answer to this first because I will go deeper into it. The first question, although seems easy, very few people can actually answer that accurately or even come close to it because many of us do not keep count. By keeping count, there's a system. Later I will show you how detailed it can be, and it can be very scary when you do exactly as I indicated. You'll find yourself, wow, I didn't know I need so much. As for how much you have when you retire, it depends right now, today, what are you doing? Money don't grow on trees. Money don't fall from the sky. How much you have does not depend on me, does not depend on your employer, depend on everybody else but you. So it depends on what you're doing. Okay, this one will shock a lot of people. Why do we need to plan for our retirement? Because one of the things that we cannot avoid spending on will be on our health. The last 2 years of pandemic actually show us a lot of lessons on the importance of health. So how much do you need just to pay medical insurance? Like I said, my job here is not to make you, wow, everything is all nice and rosy. It's to prompt you to ask the right question, the tough question, because all this will affect you. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're 60, 70 and realize that suddenly one day your bank account is empty.
I absolutely agree.
Okay, the answer to that question that a lot of people try not to know is this. Just between the age of 50 to 90, you will need, if you live, let's say you have a good fortune to have a long life, you will need just to pay the medical insurance. I'm not talking about medical expenses, just medical insurance, 300 to 400,000. You probably realize that if you are already in your 50s, you realize that your medical insurance for your integrated plan will be 1,000 plus, 2,000, depending on what you have. As you become older, every year it increases. The scary thing is when you're 70 or 80, insurance policy becomes 20,000 a year. Husband and wife means 40,000. So my question is this: do you have enough to just pay for the insurance that will keep you healthy? Or you come to a situation where when you are older, suddenly you realize that you don't have insurance coverage. Okay, the good thing about Singapore is that yes, even if you don't have enough money to pay for hospital bill, you will not be left on the street. The government will take you in, you will still be treated in a government hospital. But the question, like I say, in this case is when we talk about financial planning, we don't plan for worst case scenario where we end on the street. We want to have a comfortable retirement. But comfortable retirement means you must plan for it. So this is what it's all about. But let's not talk all just about bad news. The good news is knowing how much you need will allow you to plan for it. This is why I say you must dig and find out how much you need every month. Each of us have different needs. Rich people will probably need a lot more. Middle income people, a bit less. If you're living really a very frugal but reasonable life, you may not need so much. So our needs are different. So it depends on your lifestyle. The good news is the question of whether you have enough money does not depend really just on your income. Because income is something sometimes you can't control, like your salary. But what you can control is your spending. I don't know whether you'll be surprised to hear this. I have come across many people who are actually earning $1 million a year. They have high salary and yet they are in serious debt. Reason because they have expensive lifestyle. They buy a Maserati car, they buy a BMW car, and in 10 years the car's value drop. There goes a few $100,000 in depreciation. They spend a lot on fine dining and all these sort of things. So their daily needs or monthly needs are actually very high. Therefore, even their high income couldn't support it. You may be earning a high salary, but that doesn't mean that you will have enough money if you continue with this sort of lifestyle. Therefore, important question is always how you spend. Because how you earn, how much you earn, sometimes may not be under the control. But things that are under control is how you spend. And as I said, everybody can have enough money if they spend within their means. When I say spend within their means, it doesn't mean you must really like eat just porridge with soy sauce or whatever. No. It's within your means. If let's say you make $10,000 a month, try not to spend more than $5,000 or $6,000 and save the rest. And $5,000 or $6,000 can buy a lot of things in a month, right? So live within your means, depending on your lifestyle. Okay, this is something that some of you may know, but many people doesn't know. There is a way that you can stand a chance to have $2,500 a month, starting from age 65 to end of life. And all you need to plan for is just roughly about $300,000. And there is a scheme that actually allows you to save up to $1 million cash and then enjoy $5,000 every month for life. I'm not trying to sell you an investment product here. The last two plans actually are free for you by right as the right of a citizen. And this is actually offered to you by CPF. I will go more into that later on. But what I'm trying to say is this. Knowing about money must also include knowing about your rights, knowing about what is good for you, and so on and so forth. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about CPF. I'll come to that later. But the question is this. Have you asked the right question? Have you found out much about it yourself? And then try to learn more about the scheme that is supposed to help you. Okay, then why must we have enough? We must always have good savings, simply because, again, as I said, the last 2 years of pandemic have given us valuable lessons. We used to admire those people who work as pilot because pilot earn top dollars, more than 10,000, sometimes more than 20,000. But suddenly overnight, because there's no more flight, all the pilots actually lost their job. So a drop of income is always a top concern to many people because we never know what's happening. So therefore, it's always good to have plans. Unexpected household expenses. You probably read in the Straits Times yesterday about this lady who suddenly the ceiling literally came falling down to their home, right? So
This is an extreme tragedy.
very passionate reader we have today. Renovations, accidents. These are things that you cannot possibly plan even when you're very good with money because things do crop up once in a while, you know. So you need to plan for it. Medical expenses, illnesses, dental. Dental is a big thing because not many people have dental insurance. Even if you have dental insurance, it doesn't cover everything. Dental, of course, if you go to the government dentist, it will be cheaper, but I'm sure you are aware, as we grow older, we need to take a lot of dental treatment, and each of them actually can be very costly. So again, we need to plan for this. Spectacles, for those who have kids, you know that kids need to change, go through a cycle of changes, and spectacles also not very affordable these days. Again, these are things that you need to plan. And of course, why do we have enough? Because there's always a constant fear about not having enough for retirement because many of us may be blessed with long life. The longer you live means the more money you need in all sorts of ways. Again, You need to have enough because big question, monthly expenses. I will go more onto this later. Poor investment returns. This is one big thing that actually causes a big concern on not having enough. We make a lot of investments. The question now is, do you know how well some of these investments are performing? For example, I'm pretty sure many of you have life insurance policies. When was the last time you actually do a check and find out how much your policies are worth? I can almost assure and say with confidence that the amount, the actual value that you have, let's say assuming the surrender value, will be a lot less than what you were promised when you first signed up the policy. Reason being, let's say 20, 30 years ago, nobody expected Lehman Brothers to happen in 2008. Nobody expected the oil and gas saga in the mid-2010, and certainly nobody predicted the pandemic. So the value projection probably will be a bit wonky. So that in turn affect your insurance. So if you have betted everything on this as a retirement plan, then you realize that the amount is short. That's a source of concern, right? That's why when it comes to investment, if you ever, from today onwards, if you ever make a fresh investment, please get it down on writing. Ask all the questions, is your money? A lot of people come up with various promises, 10, 20% returns. I would actually dare say that anybody that promises you more than 20% or 50% return, especially the higher it is, chances are this person is a scammer. Reason being is that if, let's say, I have a scheme, I can make 50%, why do I need to share with you? I take all the scheme, go to DBS Bank, ask DBS Bank to lend me as much money as possible, 1 billion, because if I borrow $1 billion, I will make 500 million. I borrow 10 billion, I will make 5 billion. So why do I need to share with you? Right? And of course, you've read in the Straits Times about nickel investment by this company called Envy Investment has successfully cheated actually many professionals of their hard-earned money, 5 million, 10 million. And what they promised was just 15%. When somebody make a promise to you about 15% or 10%, the reality means this: you are betting 100% to make 15%. Actually, the risk is always there. 100,000 to make 15,000. That means you may make 15,000, but you may also lose 100,000. So that's what it means by investment return. So think carefully. Always ask the question. Supporting parents, sandwich class. Many of our parents may not own medical insurance. So this is where the problem becomes when it comes to expenses again. You may have enough for yourself, but guess what? You may not have enough to support the parents because older generation may not have medical insurance. So this is another area of concern. Of course, we all look at surrounding. Property prices are getting out of reach. For those who have kids, the big question is always that, how can my kids now afford properties? So again, unlike normal investment classes that's supposed to make you feel good, I'm making you feel worried, right? But this is exactly what life is about. I mean, I'm the guy every Sunday will always ask this question. My job is to make you think, because when you start thinking, you start preparing, you become smarter. Very few people will be able to trick you or deceive you, because why allow them to even try to make money from your hard-earned money? Because you work all your life. This is how I feel. That's why I feel driven to come out with a book like this, to actually tell people to be careful. It's your life, but there are ways that all of us can be smarter. And of course, ultimately, if we don't have enough, then we can't have our ideal retirement. Okay, if there's anything that you should do today after this talk is to find out really how much you spend money. I said that many people don't really know this. There is a method to find out. The reason why we seldom be able to keep track of our monthly expenses is because it's very, very hard to track. Sometimes we just take for granted, especially you have gyro, you have credit cards and everything. If you start to look at everything this is how the picture will look like. You will first start with your monthly taxes. For those who are working, gyro, income tax, every month, so a certain amount of money will be deducted from your bank account. So that's considered your monthly expense. Insurance premium. We all pay insurance premium, we never keep track. But it's necessary, because all this erode your monthly income. Loan repayments, mortgages, road taxes. Okay, road tax is once a year, but you divide by 12. So you look at it, this is just the compulsory ones. Monthly bills, PUB. I don't know whether you realize, no thanks to the increase in gas prices, our electricity bill has gone up by quite substantially, 30%, I think. Telco bills, home maintenance, membership fees, tuition, school fees, salaries of domestic workers. You add up together, sometimes you'll be worried that how all this will become a big number. Now, household expenses. You can only track this if you ask everyone in your family when they go out and spend, whatever you shop, eat, bring home the receipts, and you start to calculate. Then you'll be surprised that, my God, actually we spend more than 1,000 just dining out. Because all these are very easy. You never keep receipts. Just imagine you are now the chief financial officer of your home. In order for your kids to claim money, they must produce receipts. So all this is a practice. Just go through the motion. You'll be surprised, You add up all this, you realize that, you actually spend so much. Because sometimes money just flow out. Because especially when the money bank into the account, you never keep track. If you don't keep track, eventually you'll find that, hey, how come my savings account doesn't increase every month even though I'm earning top dollars? It's because your money is growing out faster than you put in. Dining, transport bills. Youngsters these days like to call for Grab. They hail rides wherever they go. I mean, my 50s, when I was growing up, the only time I call for a cab is when I go to airport, correct? I mean, you don't take taxi. You flag down taxis, but you certainly don't call for Grab, call for taxi. You only call for one because you are going to the airport on holiday. Therefore, you need to make sure you be on time. That's why you call for taxi. But we also always grumble because you call for taxi, you need to pay $5 surcharge or thereabouts. But these days, everybody hail rides like it's so cheap and everything. It's not cheap. If you continue to do this, it adds up, especially if you are earning a few $1,000s a month. Right? So all this add up. So you add all this in. Allowances to family members. It's also an expense. Right? You give your money to your kids. You give money to your parents. You don't calculate, but all this adds up. Add up all these 5 items, you will realize that, wow, this is how much I need every month. Now, moment of truth. Okay? Assuming you just need $3,000 a month, that's actually already on the conservative side, and you plan to retire and stop working at 65. So how much do you need for your retirement? Very simple. 3,000 times 12 times 20 years. Assuming that based on the national average, we live up to 85, let's say. Just using this simple calculation will tell you that you need 720,000. We may not need to have 720,000 right now in your account, but this is how much you will need in the 20 years. Now think about the guy who asks you to make investment. They always tell you, hey, you must have at least 6 months of emergency fund or 10 months or 1 year. Really? You actually need 240 months, And also easy come, when you put in the investment. Now the question is, that's why I say ask question. You put in that money to their investment. Can you guarantee me the returns? Ask everything. Make him write down all these things. Because the more you write on your form before you sign, the better chances that you have if you go to court eventually. Because many people like to make empty promises. They tell you one thing, but will make you sign another thing. It's your money, Don't let them get away with all these things. So that's why I said you need to know how much you need, because that will determine how much money that you will actually need. This simple calculation. I didn't lie. This is mathematics. You spend 3,000 a month. 3,000 a month times 20 years from 65 to 80 years old is 20 years old times 720. If you just live on just daily expenses and everything, life is very boring. So okay let's throw in $10,000 for holiday. Singapore is opening up. Every place is opening up. You go for holiday. say conservatively 10,000. So that adds in another amount to the thing, and that kind of increases the thing to more than 900,000. So that's why I said, seems a bit scary to you right now, but this is what it is. That's why I said everybody needs to plan, needs to whatever. Of course, when I give you the problem, I will also give you the solution, but I'm just saying that there's no free will in this world. You need to work for it. And this is just simple projection, based on your own calculation, how much you need. Throw in some holidays. And but you have not factored in remember all the other unexpected expenses. Suddenly you have a very nice, after the fresh chicken come back to Singapore, we all have a big feast, and accidentally you bite into the drumstick. One of your teeth breaks and you need to go for root canal. That's another $2,000 to $3,000 not factored in, right? So, okay, retirement, common myth. A lot of people talk about retirement, but what exactly is retirement? Myth. This is particularly true for many young people. They have this idea, when I retire, I can go and enjoy and basically go for all my dream holidays. Everybody seems to say that, when I retire, I spend my whole life for remaining time go on holiday. But the reality is, when you retire, you just stop working. That means no income. The other expenses are the same. Whether you can go on holiday depends how much you have, correct? It's not a free thing, it's not a privilege. You retire means the company gave you 10 trips holiday. No, you have to pay for it. So this is the reality. You want to go on holidays, just add on the plan for it. Myth. A lot of people don't see the need to plan for retirement because I can work forever. I'm very healthy. I can work forever. This is called the Peter Pan syndrome. The fable character that doesn't grow old. You just continue to be young, forever young, so I can work forever. Even if you can do that, guess what? The work may not be there for you. The question is, what's so special about you? As can be seen, things can change. Remember the story about a pilot? Who would expect a pilot to go out of job? Guess what? Pandemic. Then technology comes. All kinds of things. So do you have a particularly special skill that will continue to ensure that you will be employed? Right? We all hear stories about older workers facing discrimination at work. Actually, there's another more scary topic, which probably I will explore later on, and that's office politics. You may be very good, but people stab your back, kick you out. These are things you cannot control. Right? So, various other things. So that's why, at the end of the day, all the more we must plan. Okay, I can always start planning for retirement later. Yeah. But reality is this. Most of us work from 25 to 65, let's say after graduation. I mean, this is just an average thing, right? Say you work from 25 to 65 and live up to 85. That means you have 40 years of making income, but you have to live during that period 60 years. So your 40 years of income must be able to pay for 60 years of your life. That's what working is all about, That's what retirement planning is all about. You plan for it when you are working, but how much you need really depends on many other things. The reality is that's why you need to start as early as possible, because life is already unfair in the sense that you work 40 years. During that 40 years, there's a lot of expenses. You start your family, you buy a house, you buy a car, you have a good life, your children is going to university and so on. You already need to pay for all this. That's 40 years when you're still working. Doesn't seem so hard because you're having an income. But suddenly, when you retire, the income stops, Remember about if you're not keeping track, where does the money go? And if you only save 6 months or 10 months according to what the investment guy tells you, then you'll be in a lot of trouble, because later on when you stop working, you have another 20 more years to go. That's why retirement planning is not something to be trifled with or dismissed. I just use it use numbers to show you why it's already stacked unfairly against us, because the 40 years that you work, you need to carve out enough to have another 20 more years. Okay, now I share with you something I mentioned earlier. There's this very, very controversial scheme called CPF, Central Provident Fund. I have created another name for it. I call it CPF, stands for Cash Protection for Future. For those of you who read my column regularly in the Straits Times, or Sunday Times every Sunday, you will probably notice why I have written quite a lot on CPF. In fact, one or two financial bloggers actually criticized me. One of them actually dedicated one whole page of his blog to criticize me and ask me whether I'm a government agent, whether I'm a spokesman, I'm paid to sell CPF and talk about CPF. My answer to you today is no. I am legally trained. I have a mind on my own. I studied the rules of CPF many, many times. I look at the how it works and everything. And I've come to the conclusion that this is something that I should share with my fellow Singaporeans because it's a great scheme. So the point that I'm saying is this. I write about it, not because I'm a government agent or a government spokesman. No. I like to think that I explain the policy better than they do. And in fact, sometimes I tell the Ministry of Finance people to come and learn from us how to write, because we do conduct courses on how to promote the cause better, because it is truly a great scheme. Why do I say it's a great scheme? I will show you. I will, in fact, refute any allegation that you may have later on why this is something that you should not dismiss. I'm not saying that this is the best investment ever. No. Remember, I told you from the start of today's talk, money is about certainty. I cannot tell you, because of my background as a legally trained person, I feel that I owe a duty of care to my readers. If, let's say, I write in tomorrow's paper, please go and buy company A. Stocks are doing really good. Next thing you know, 1 year down the road, the company closed down and many of you lost money. You may not be able to, let's say, sue because I just give an advice, but I feel that this is not the way. I have caused my readers to lose money. So therefore, as a practice, I do not recommend products in my column that I personally feel there's a risk. That's what investment is about. I will only write about things which I am certain that will benefit my reader 100% with certainty, with no losses. I can talk about it. That's why, if you notice, I talk about investment a lot, but I never recommend products. I only tell you what are the signs to look out for, because you have to make your own decision. Because it is not fair to influence you and tell you to buy this product when I myself do not know whether or not you will make money. Because frankly, as I said from the beginning, if I know money, do you think I need to work in Straits Times? I might as well be holidaying in a paradise island. I make all the money. Because nobody for sure knows what is happening. Those people who gloat, who have betted on many technology companies in United States, because in the last 2 years the price has gone up, now start to realize that the price is going down. Those who betted on crypto suddenly find themselves penniless for some of them. This is what investment is about. I'm sure all of you have had experience. Nobody can foresee the collapse of Lehman Brothers, correct? It's a good company, hundreds of years of tradition. We can't tell for certainty. Therefore, but some things in life is certain, thankfully. And this is what I share and hope that, you just look at it as a comparison. I share not because that this is like, it's an investment. No, I call it safety net. The government has reserve, right? During the pandemic, Singapore government easily, when I say easily, I mean they don't have to beg and borrow. They can come up with $100 billion of aid for all Singaporeans. Where did the $100 billion come from? National Reserve. Money that has served over the years. As an individual, you should develop a national reserve as well. And I see CPF as your reserve. You may have lots of money. You say that, what is this guy talking about? I make lots more. I buy all these shares. Yes, you can do so. But I'm just trying to tell you, have this part covered. Wherever additional money you have, please go ahead, bet on crypto, bet on whatever you want to, go to the casino. That's your entitlement. But at the very least, you will realize that if you cover this base well, you will always have enough money. And I will tell you why. Myth. This one very popular. It's a scam. Government always lock up your money. It really is a scam. Every social media page you will find one or two on this one. It's a scam to lock up your money. The reality, I dare say only people who do not have money in CPF say that it's a scam. If it is indeed a scam, then why is it that while we talk about scam, there are many people who actually have billions of dollars inside there? Are all these people stupid? No. You know why they say it's a scam? I call it self-preservation. That means sometimes I don't have money. Of course, I can't say, hey, actually, I'm very, very stupid. I didn't make use of CPF. Therefore, now I don't have money. So I don't admit I'm stupid, and therefore I call it a scam. And the reason why the money is locked up is because you do not have money in the first place to utilize. That's why they call it a scam. The government is depriving citizens of using their money. So I lock up all your money. That's the purpose of CPF. Lock it up. Don't use. Guess what? Insurance policy from the time you're young, in your 20s, you buy life insurance policy, right? Your money is locked up. Locked up until you die. Technically, life policy, sometimes if you don't surrender them, you can't touch them. All products, financial products, actually locked up your money. But nobody ever complained that life insurance policy is a scam, even though they really locked up your money and you can't touch it. Only a beneficiary can touch it. The reality is financial products need time to generate income. So when CPF keep your money aside to let you earn the interest, it's a scam. But other products that you buy, your insurance policy, also locked it up, in fact, for life. But nobody actually go and tell the insurance company, you guys are running a scam. The question is this. It's not that the government doesn't allow you all to withdraw all the money. Assuming that, let's say, everybody can withdraw 55. Take out every single cent. And I'm sure we have read so many stories, sometimes in the Chinese papers and sometimes in the Straits Times. Some of these people, in the good old days, they went to another country and get another wife, spend it all on this. Later, they come back penniless. Just recently, somebody wrote to Straits Times, took out all the money, went to Thailand, married a young wife. Then the young wife kicked the person out. Now stuck in Thailand, wrote to Straits Times, CC Straits Times. I actually wanted CPF to withdraw money to buy an air ticket back to Singapore. Why? Because no more money. My question is this. If everybody can withdraw 55 and spend, by the time they're 60, they're penniless, then government got to step in to take care of them. We need taxes, right? Now, for those of you who have saved money dutifully, now the taxes become very high. The question is it fair to you? So that's the reason why you need to have certain measures to prevent the irresponsible people from withdrawing all the money, because those who play by the rule do not suffer by having to pay higher taxes. Because imagine if everyone needs government aid, 100 billion is definitely not going to be enough. So there will be lots of income tax, everything increases. The question is it fair? So therefore, there is a certain measures to prevent people to safeguard the thing. Even having said that, the purpose of keeping the money aside is not to deprive you, but actually to let it grow further. I will show you why. It is not sustainable for CPF to pay 2.5 to 4% interest every year. This one usually comes from investment people. Because why? They want you to buy their product. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk about this. They'll say, yeah, you buy my investment, you will give you better returns. After all, the CPF returns not sustainable. I always see this once in a while. And the people who say this usually have an agenda. They are the investment houses. But I can tell you, I have asked one time the country manager of a very big global investment house, to actually recommend to me a product to promote to my readers that pays more than CPF and just as safe. The person said, sorry, I can't give you this kind of product because it doesn't exist. People who say that the interest rates are not sustainable forgot that CPF stroke Singapore government is not a business that need profits. And they can pay you the amount of interest is because they have something that no other companies have, taxes. Yes, I mean, you need taxes for all things. And one of the things on how you earn back the taxes is through CPF, earn back the interest. You may not believe it. If you do a calculation, the government is actually spending less by giving you high interest in CPF than to have to take care of you. If all of us here can be self-sustainable, all of us have got high CPF thing, and we can live and pay our expenses through retirement without any government aid, I think it's money well spent for Singapore government because they pay you the interest, you enjoy your life. Great. The sad reality is, I look at the numbers, not enough people is making use of this. Therein lies the problem of not having enough money. This one also very famous. The goalposts always being moved, so you always worry, you better withdraw your money out because they are always making the changes. The last goalpost was moved just recently when Finance Minister announced the increase on basic retirement sum again. So goalposts being missed again, so better withdraw your money out. Okay, as I said, I'm legally trained, I only go by facts. People say move goalposts. Yes, they're right, goalposts are being moved. But ask yourself, what is the purpose of moving those goalposts? The reality is all the changes in the recent years are made so that CPF can pay you more. That's the purpose of changing the goalposts. So is that good or bad? They're changing the goalposts so that you get more money. It all started with first goalpost, retirement sum scheme. Last time people can withdraw, but they hold the money back so that they can hold the money longer and pay you more, although bit by bit every month. But for those who have enough money, you find that actually I'll show you later by numbers why moving the goalpost is a good thing. The latest change of increasing the basic retirement sum, although it was not well explained, the purpose is to enable CPF Life to pay you more. That's why they move the goalpost, make you save more, but they pay you more. How much more? A few $100s more. You put in, the returns are actually almost, over the period I did a calculation the other time, almost 100% of what you actually put in, you get 100% back in returns over that 10, 20 years. It's actually a very good thing. So my point is very simple. The next time when people criticize something, especially when it comes to CPF, make out your own decision. Don't just listen. Use your own money. Do, check. And really what is wrong with all these people who complain? Because many people have got different agenda. I can tell you two. One is, of course, people are just plain unhappy. Second is investment people. Why they call me a government agent? It's because suddenly now I'm explaining to my readers in simple terms that there is this scheme they can use to make money for themselves. And guess what? No need to pay money. You can do it right from your home. No need to go and pay investment fee. No need to buy their products. They feel threatened. They rightfully so, because it's about time that you make money to safeguard your own future. That said, I'm not against investment. I'm just saying that there's a basic line of defense that you must have so that you guarantee your own future first. If you have more, by all means, please buy whatever investment that you think is suitable. But at the very least, don't lose out on your basic right as a Singaporean to make this money. And this is certain. So what exactly is CPF really? So we talk about scam and everything. So let's go a bit deep dive. What is CPF? Actually, it's very, very simple. CPF is just a long-term fixed deposit account that pay 2.5 and 4% interest. Additional 1% to encourage. That means that some accounts pay up to 5 and 6% to encourage people to save more. As these are for low-income people. It is just an account that offers 2.5 and 4% interest, guaranteed by government. There's no science to it. No need to do anything. You put your money there, you automatically earn the money. So it's just like almost like a long-term fixed deposit. Just that you cannot withdraw out early because they want to give you this retirement planning, right? So, but after 55, you can actually withdraw. At 55, a part of the money is set aside for CPF Life. That's the lifelong income for elderly. Okay, what exactly is CPF Life, this product? It is just like any other annuity that you can buy from the market. Annuity means it's an investment product that you pay, you hold for a certain period, and it will give out regular payout after a certain period. That's what annuities is about. CPF Life is also an annuity, but there's a big difference. It is the cheapest and best annuity, I dare say, in the world. I did a calculation. In order to get a roughly about 2,500 a month payout from 65, you only need to set aside roughly about 300,000. To get a 2005 payout, when you buy a private annuity, you need to set up roughly about $1 million. So it's already 70% discount. Okay, here's the best part. 2,005 a month for CPF Life roughly is stable and guaranteed. You may not get 2,005 exactly, depending on you. You get 2,450 or 2,399 depending on when you set up the money. But it will always be that sum. Private annuity, one day you get a letter. Oh, due to the war in Ukraine, we are sorry that our earning expectation has dropped. And therefore, starting from January next year, you will be getting only 1,900. Then after that, 1,008, 1,000, whatever. Private annuities, not guaranteed. And it costs a lot more. One is 300,000, one is 1 million. Okay, this is the best part. Those who have no money, not enough money to pay for the CPF Life, will find that after the money moved to set up CPF Life for them, they have nothing else to withdraw. And that's why they scream, it's a scam, government locking up the money. For those of you who have lots of money in CPF, after the money has been deducted from your special account stroke ordinary account for the CPF Life, the remainder down there, you can withdraw anytime, with the exception of MediSave. Special account, ordinary account, it's like a bank. It's like your personal account, you know. But the only difference is, if you still have money in special account, you still earn 4%. Even the money in ordinary account earns 2.5%. There's no lock-in period. If you are very free, you can actually withdraw $1 every day also. $10. Suddenly you feel that, wow, I feel very scared like they're moving goalposts again. You can straight away use Pay Now, withdraw 200,000. And it's not just like the limit of withdrawal 200,000. No, the Pay Now withdrawal is because due to your bank, right? Because they say scam, they actually put a limit. You can pay now for every day. So you can withdraw all your money technically instantly. I'm sure you read the other day, there was an unfortunate story about how this lady was conned $1 million because the scammer somehow got access to his CPF account, transferred the money to her own account. You see, $1 million got transferred. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a bank account. It's almost like your private banking, except that this one earned 2.5% and no lock-in period. No, you put 1 month there, you earn 2.5. No need to wait for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. So my question is, why the need to withdraw at 55 to your remainder? Why? Because they're going to move the goalpost again? Seriously? I mean, even if they're moving the goalpost, when you hit 55, it's your right to withdraw this part. Goalposts are changed only if the government wants to give you more money through CPF Life. So long as you hit 55 already, whatever changes that's being made has got nothing to do with you anymore. The only thing that will benefit you is if you want to continue to top up and get more money. That's all. So don't worry. I mean, the changes is not like, oh, you think the government is very free every day trying to do something to irritate you and make Singaporeans unhappy? No. They're also not very free themselves. They got many other things that irritate us, right? So CPF shouldn't be one of them because it's really a good thing. You know? So there's really no rush to withdraw money. I stated in my book, it's safe. When will it not be safe? If let's say Singapore is attacked by hostile forces, we will destroy it. Or there's a tsunami, wipe us out, there's an earthquake, split Singapore into half. Then of course everyone gone. I mean, CPF don't know whether still around or not. But technically the money exists. But if those things happen, I think the last thing you should be worried about is your CPF savings. You know, so short of those kind of calamities and everything, it's actually safe. It's your money. This is one part that many people forget. If you are doing a business, I would strongly advise you to top up your CPF to your max, top up your children's CPF, top up your wife's CPF, top up everybody's CPF to the max, simply because this is the only fund that is prevents your money from being touched by your creditors. So technically, you may be a bankrupt. You can still remain a millionaire if there's 1 million in your account. So no other financial scheme actually allows you to do that. So it's protected. Now, question is, can I just retire with CPF? Yes and no, depending which group of people you have been. Believing those people who think this is a scam, or believing those people who have done a lot to maximize their return. Technically, as I said, it's free. This is a long-term scheme that allows young working adults to start contributing. Technically, the scheme is done in such a way that if you have contributed CPF diligently all your life, all of us actually stand a chance to hitting $1 million. Of course, there's an exception. The question is whether do you use it for housing loan and so on and so forth. I'll come to that. If you have saved diligently, I'm saying this is the highest scenario case. That's why I'm saying that why some investment people are upset that I talk about CPF so on and so forth, because the limit that you can go with CPF is actually $1 million. That's a lot of money to many people. I'm talking about cash, not your property and everything, cash. This scheme alone that is free can actually take in up to more than $1 million for you to maximize. If you have maximized it, you will realize that this is one scheme that will pay you back $5,000 every month, profit, returns from 65 until the end of your life. Quite a lot of money, you know. This 5,000 is derived from the CPF Life, half of it. The other half is the interest that you earn when you leave your money in ordinary account and special account. So every month, 5,000. Let's say your money needs every month, let's say barring all the other things, it's just 3,000. It's just 5,000 means that from CPF alone, the payment that they give to you based on the interest and CPF Life can already pay for your monthly expenses. That's a good retirement plan to have, right? A standby. And this, I am not even talking about your own savings, your own insurance policy and other things. This is just from CPF. Really, if you look at the numbers, having $1 million in CPF gives you better returns than having a $1 million investment property. You can collect rent, but I don't think your rental is for life, you know. Sometimes your tenant may disappear and so on and so forth. There's a period of no rent, and there will be repairs, there will be income tax. But CPF Life returns are free of taxes. And as in all responsible families, you don't just plan alone. Husband and wife plan together. If you can get 5,000, technically your wife also can get 5,000. So combine. What this means is if you plan together, you can have 10,000 every month just from CPF. And here's the thing, the money that I'm talking about, the 5,000 and 10,000, is the returns after you set aside the money for CPF Life and the interest. Whatever amount that you still have the CPF is still there. It's untouched. If you have $1 million there, it's still there. Because there's just the interest earned from the $1 million there, the interest, the payout earned from the setting aside of the CPF Life. So it's 10,000 every month for life, for husband and wife if you plan together. Now the question is, which investment do you know that can give you this kind of return? I've asked so many people, not so easy. 10,000 a month, no. And it doesn't really require a lot. I mean, 2 million. Yes, it seems like a big money, but I'm saying that this is something that is safe from young. So if you think that, okay, maybe I've lost a chance, go back and tell your children, this is what they can do today. And this is provided by the government. You don't have to worry. This is your national reserve. I'm not saying that this is the best investment ever. No. Please don't get me wrong. There are many, many investments that can give you very, very high returns. But there's always risk. Use this one as your national reserve. At the very least, no matter if all your other investment doesn't turn out right, at the very least, this part is safe. Remember, even if you lose everything, Lehman Brothers collapse and everything, the money in CPF is safe. So why would you want to give up your basic right to enjoy this when it's already there? Now, the question is how to hit 1 million, if you're keen. It's a fair system. Everybody's potential to hit CPF is actually the same. Reason is because there's already a cap. Minimum salary, maximum salary that is counted for CPF is 6,000. So that means that on the average, including bonus and everything, you can only give, even if you have lots of money, they also cannot accept your money. You can only contribute 37,740. So everyone has the same chance. This is not a scheme that benefits the rich. It's the same. So for those who work, we have least of a worry because our employer will help us do the contribution. But for if you are self-employed, then you make sure that you do it for yourself. The biggest obstacles of growing money in CPF is many of us use it for home loan to pay the home mortgage and everything. Nothing wrong in that, except that sometimes people do this because why the money is locked up, I use it to pay because I can't touch it anyway. Very dangerous. I've seen trends where young people, because they all view CPF as a scam, they call CPF a scam and yet they put money in crypto, which is, okay, I shall not say anything bad about it, but you see the mindset, right? CPF is a scam, but not crypto, okay. So they have a mission to max out their CPF so that, one fellow actually wrote in Straits on Facebook, I'm very happy because I will make sure that CPF cannot scam me because I got no money in CPF. Wow, very smart. So the point is, this is to me a forced saving. Okay, interest rates starting to go up for home loan. Let's hope if we breach 2.5, then of course, what you want is quickly pay off your loan. So if you want to utilize CPF, then fine. But there was a period where home loan is only less than 1%. So why do you use a 2.5% interest rate fund to pay for a loan that's only 1%? You're actually losing money. Use cash. It's a forced saving. Yes, it's a bit hard today, but you will realize that the more money you conserve, the more you will have. Even if you have used CPF to pay for home loan, don't worry. There's a scheme that allows you to put back the money back. So if you are one of those fellas, you have actually last time taken money out from CPF to pay for your home loan, you are still staying in the house, you have not sold your home yet, and then you have lots of money in the FD, in the fixed deposit that only earn 1%, you may want to find out how to put the money back into CPF and earn 2.5. Better than the FD, right? Even Bank of China or whatever, 1.7, still less than 2.5. So there's always a way to put back. So the good news about this scheme is that there's always never too late. Even if you're 50 years old, 55 years old, it's always never too late. You can just go back and find out more, do online transfer or whatever, and it's free. Just read up. And if you feel that it's a bit too difficult to understand, you can read my book on the part of a CPF. Or if you still find the need to, go ahead and set up an appointment with CPF. Free financial advice. That's why I said, even if you have used CPF previously to pay home loan, you can refund it. Okay, there's this part that a lot of people get very upset about, accrued interest. They say, wow, how come CPF so hiong, charge me interest so bad or so much? Hey, that one is not accrued interest, it's your money. Basically, CPF taken out your money to let you pay your home loan, and the interest that is charged is based on your money. The interest charged is actually your own money. So when you pay the accrued interest, it goes back to your account, not to CPF. So basically, it's just a signal to tell you that, hey, since you've taken out the money to pay for home loan, this is the interest that you have missed earning, but you can have a chance now to use that to put back more money into account to earn the 2.5%. Not a bad thing. Even if you don't pay, don't worry, they won't come after you. Okay, this is something that you should advise people who are younger. I wish I had known about this much earlier. Special account, 4%. Not many financial products can give you fixed income at 4%, state guaranteed. Your children or yourself, if let's say you have not reached 192, quickly go and top it up. Up to 8,000 will be eligible for tax relief, but the point about that is more than that is allowing, let's say your child, if you feeling very generous now, you have lots of money, you want to give your kid a big ang pao, start to top up their CPF account. If they are in their 30s and already they hit the maximum, then I will say congratulations, your child, your son, daughter, will be the next generation of Singaporean when they reach 55, will have lots of money in CPF, because very few people actually does it. Questions later, okay? I did my check. The funny thing about sometimes when I write about this is that we have many Singaporeans who are very eager to share. I've got many Singaporeans reader who actually will WhatsApp me their account information. And so far I've collated, I think that the highest amount that you can really hit if you maximize to date is this chap 1.75 million in CPF cash, and the money is still growing. So it actually allows you to earn millions of dollars. So this investment is free, state guaranteed. Of course, not many people can do that. But so that's the question. When you make your investment portfolio, I hope CPF is one of the big ones, because you can actually save this kind of money, and you have this kind of money. That means technically you can have $5,000-6,000 a month for the rest of your life just on interest alone. So I mentioned that this is my last slide. You can actually make $1 million from CPF starting from age 55, or the day that you turn 55. It's never too late. Basically, in order to do that, you need to have $1 million first. That means you have to save $1 million, because the result in this case is you have 1 million, I give you back another 1 million. Not me giving back, but CPF give you back 1 million. So it's 1-to-1, 100% profit. Technically, you can make from CPF. So again, I ask, this is legitimate, no? This is not I'm not selling you a thing, it's there. It's a state given benefits to all citizens. It's in the rules. Question is, are we smart enough to utilize this and make $1 million for our own retirement? So what does it mean? How do you make that 1 million? So as I said, at 55, CPF will deduct the retirement sum from your account, 192,000 for CPF Life. CPF Life, the initial retirement sum is just the full retirement sum is just the basic sum that they use for the retirement. You can technically top it up. The full retirement sum will pay out roughly about 1,500, 1,600 a month. But in order to earn the 2,000 plus, you need to top up to what we call the enhanced retirement sum. And the difference is another $96,000. My advice usually to people is, if you have the money, top with cash. Because why cash? You don't want to use your CPF money to top up that, because your money in CPF already allows you to earn 2.5% or 4%, and you can already withdraw anytime. It's there for you. So use your cash. Because when you hit 55, this is like your another bank account, just that better than all the OCBC, DBS that you have, because it earns a lot of money, and you can actually do digital banking as well. So use your cash to top up. And you say top up, 96,000, I don't have that money, kind of money. You don't have to do it at one time. You can top up every month, bit by bit, until you hit the maximum. So when you hit maximum, you can get 2,003 or 2,005, depending on what you have. Leave the remainder. Don't withdraw out the rest in the money in the CPF account. And if you have a substantial amount of money, you can actually stand to earn interest 30,000 a month, roughly. I mean, if you have, let's say, $1 million down there, 700 here, 200 there, interest is very, very high. You just calculate. So what it means is, in the 25 years from 65 to 90, CPF Life itself will pay you roughly about $290,000 every month from 65 to 90. Your base investment earlier on is roughly about 288 or roughly 300. That means the profit that you get out of the payment, just simple deduct. I just take out the base money that you get. So the profit that CPF is giving you, that means you put in roughly about 300, they pay you 700,000. So your profit roughly is 400,000. And from 55 onwards, the interest that you have earned by leaving the money in the account, let's say it's 30,000 a year, really over the period of almost 35 years, your interest alone will be over $1 million. So that's where you have your $1 million profit from CPF Life and your interest. And again, I note that your capital sum is still there. You still have your $1 million there. Is untouched. Because the money I'm talking about, this one, the so-called profit, is your interest and the payout from CPF Life. So this is available. This is the scam people are talking about. In what way is this a scam? Right? It is there for you to earn. I dare say that this is a very good national reserve. So at the very least, of course, if you have lots of other investment portfolio, congratulations. But don't miss out on this one. This is your basic right. This is why one of the good things of being a Singaporean. Do you know that many people actually love to have this scheme, but they can't? They need to, of course, be a resident here, but not many people can become resident easily. I've come to the end of my talk today. You'll find many of these things in my book. But also, if you feel that the talk I've given you today is useful, actually, Straits Times, we do conduct a Straits Times Invest Masterclass where we go deeper into all these things, where we talk about even how you should avoid scams. There's a checklist you should do, how you protect your family assets. Just like, for example, the $1 million hong bao thing. You are very rich, but you want to protect your legacy so that the money don't go missing. A lot of times people don't realize this. You may be very rich today, but I can certainly tell you there are a lot of things that you may not know about wills. If you read the coming invest cases, I can give you a special promo today. Later this month, I'm going to focus on one particular very, very sad case involving a 71-year-old woman. She's a widow, no child. She had millions of dollars, and then she had dementia. Wow, very sad case. She's now being fought for by friends and distant relatives. Both wanted to care for her. Maybe, I don't know, out of goodness, but I don't think they will be so forthcoming if, let's say, she's penniless. My point is, all of us will grow old, but do we know enough how to protect our assets? Assuming you have this $1 million in your account, question is, how do you protect it? Finally, I wish my parting message to all of you is just like what my book is about. May all of you always have enough money. Okay, we still have some time for questions. Sorry, just on the gentleman at the back.
Hi, Mr. Tan. Thank you very much for your presentation. Oh, sorry, I thought my voice was not enough. Hi, Mr. Tan. Thank you very much for your presentation today. And forgive my ignorance for asking this question. But actually, I'd like to ask, actually, what is the number? Why is it that it's 192,000 that's to be transferred before age 55? Why is the magical number over there?
Okay, this is actually good that you asked the question because it proves on one thing. CPF have a lot of work to do because if you have to ask that question means the message didn't get to you. You know, the reason why I didn't go deeper into all that, my apologies, is because I assume that all of you will buy my book is inside there. Okay, CPF Life is made up of, remember the other day that the changes that make people so upset when the government announced that they're going to increase the basic retirement sum again. Wow, so everybody very upset. Changing goalposts again, lock up more money. Okay, CPF Life comprises three parts. One is called the basic retirement sum. The other is the full retirement sum. And then the third one is the enhanced retirement sum. So you can actually save three types of savings. Enhanced retirement sum is the highest. As of today, is 288,000. It will pay you roughly about 2,003 a month from 65 if you set up this amount. The 192 is the full retirement sum. This is the sum that will be deducted from all our accounts at 55. So this amount will pay you roughly about 1,005 or 1,006, thereabout. The other one is the basic retirement sum. If you only have that kind of money in the CPF, you will get roughly about $700 to $800. Okay, what is the news recently about when you talk about raising the retirement sum? What it means is that as the year goes by, each generation of 55-year-old Singaporeans will pay more money. This year is 288, sorry, this year let's say it's 192. Next year will be, I think it's about 200, then 210 or whatever. So what it means is that gradually, instead of you getting 1,005, 1,006, you get 1,007, 1,008, 1,009, 2,000. So that's how the government pay you more money as you age. So this is just the amount set aside for your CPF Life. So that's why it's 192. So because that's the full retirement sum for this year. So next year will be higher. So this is a sum that they deduct. I mean, it's a baseline they use for CPF Life. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, my name is Rashid. Okay, does the CPF also include about the inflation? Because now inflation is very high. So it's also concerned most of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inflation is a very difficult creature to attack. The basic retirement sum increase was actually a step, in my view, although they didn't spell out so clearly, to counter inflation. Right now, based on the calculation, let's say you go for the highest tier, you will get 2003. But if you put up more money, then you get 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 every month. So that instead of getting 2003, now you got 2009. So that's the way to counter inflation, by increasing the CPF life. That's why I say that this is one product. That's why I explain in my you can Google my name and then find the story where I talk about it, why the government is using CPF life to counter inflation. It's because I don't know of any financial product they will actually tell you, hey, please, we are going to pay you out more, you know. So this is what they have done. Unfortunately, the way they presented the message not so clear, it succeeded in getting a lot of people angry, when the motive is actually exactly what you just said. They are trying to counter inflation. That's why the other day when a bunch of Ministry of Finance people attended one of our calls, I actually highlighted this thing to them. Please do your bosses a favor, present it better. Don't just talk about basic retirement sum, which nobody knows what is happening. Talk about the purpose. And of course, our job, frankly, when it comes to financial planning, I won't tell you to plan for inflation. I want to tell you to plan for holiday at least 2-3 times a year. Right? I mean, life. This is what's life about, right? I mean, that's why I mentioned to you the maximum, just on CPF alone, no? $10,000. Assuming that you are the type who's very frugal, you cook home a lot because of pandemic, you know, you save a lot. So that means that every month CPF can pay you, combined husband and wife, let's say 10,000, but you only use, let's say 3,000. That means you have 7,000 extra. 7,000 times 12, that's 80 plus thousand. Wow, you can have many holidays. Can even buy a car every year. Just on your CPF. And when I say just on CPF, that means this is just the money they pay you, you know, your capital is still there. So that's what I mean. We shouldn't plan for inflation, we should plan for a good life. Because after all, that's what life is about, right? So inflation, yes, is there, but I would say be a bit more kiasu, go for the maximum. Questions? I don't think. Okay, the question here is: will it be possible that the ordinary account will go to 2.5 and special account more than 4%? Not so likely, simply because it's already very tough for the government to give you 4 and 2.5. Remember, when people are paying you 0.1% or 0.05% for your fixed deposit, you still get that 2.5. So I don't think they will tamper with the thing a lot, because tampering the thing means that it kind of proved to critics that, you see, not sustainable or either way. I think there are many ways to reward people. I think the CPF problem is not that there are so many millionaires with them. I think their problem is there are not enough people maximizing this. It's actually very scary that the number of people who don't have money in their CPF exceed a lot more than those people who have. So that's why government, my personal view is that they shouldn't tamper with the thing. Instead, maybe they will allocate more funds to help really the low-income family who cannot benefit from this scheme. You know, so I don't think they will increase the interest rate. Yes, sir.
I have one question here. Is that for the retirement fund, is it true that you can only top up after the age of 55?
Yes, the retirement account is only set up when you hit 55. So before 55, you top up special account. That's why I say right now, if you haven't hit the maximum of top up amount of 192 today, quickly go back and top up. If you want to plan ahead for children, if you struck Toto today, don't give them money, but top up their account. They will thank you later, 30 years later when they grow up, because really the interest at 4%. I did a quick calculation. Even if you start at age 30, by the time you hit 55, it will be more than 500,000 in special account alone. Yes.
Thanks for an excellent presentation. I have a question for retirees where, let's say our Medisave account is fixed and low, let's say, and you need a lot of Medisave now. So if there is a hospitalization by a retiree and your Medisave amount is low, will the government take some money out of the retirement account or a special account, I mean ordinary account or whatever, and top up the Medisave?
Actually, my view is this: even if you have Medisave, right, you cannot use the whole amount of Medisave to pay for any particular treatment. There's always a cap. My own personal view is that Medisave is good to pay for your shield plan, your income plan, care shield plan, and of course, touch wood, if you need to go to a hospital, you pay a bit of it, but it's only these days only 5%. Of course, for those people who have a lot of money in Medisave, your problem won't be not enough money. Your problem is you cannot spend the Medisave because most of the time your shield plan will cover most of the treatment. You don't want to use your own Medisave, whatever. But sadly, for those people who have very little money in Medisave, that's where the problem starts. My advice for cases like this, if you have the ability to do so, do consider getting a medical insurance at the very least, even for government hospital ones, so that the key here is, of course, there's a big difference. We are talking about really low income family and those who are possible. My advice to people is always, that's why I highlight early enough the amount of money we need for insurance, medical insurance, because life is such that you work your whole life through. You don't want towards your old age, suddenly you need to really be stuck in a situation. Not saying anything or whatever, but sometimes you look at situation in Hong Kong, sometimes, or even in our own hospital during the COVID times, you are actually in for some backache or some surgery for your kneecap, but wow, the queue at the government hospital is so long. Then people are being put in a tent. You don't want to walk in there and kena infected, right? With the insurance policy, you have the option to seek private medical care. So this is what financial planning is about. You don't plan for the worst case scenario, you plan for the best case scenario. So to your question, no easy answer. Medisave, actually there is a cap, you can't use it anyway. When it comes to payment, I think the hospitals if let's say those who need help, the social worker will be there to assist in terms of payment. Because normally mode of payment is your discretion. How you pay, whether you want to through insurance, you want to pay by cash, relative. Oh, before I forget, the good news about you having a high Medisave is you can use it to help your relative pay as well. So this is one backup plan. Your Medisave may be low, but I can use it to pay. And also sometimes when you talk about planning, if you have been healthy all your life and you look at the way it's being used, your insurance plan pay for most things. Really, your Medisave cannot be used, So I would suggest that don't top up if you are able to have good savings. I wouldn't recommend people topping up Medisave per se, simply because husband and wife or even children can use their Medisave to help each other first, because this is not so liquid. Sometimes it's not about medical treatment. Sometimes if you come to a stage you need money for certain things, you don't want the money to be trapped in Medisave. So for people who can afford it, I would say Medisave technically usually not something that I would focus heavily on. For retirees, there's always an option of getting your children to help out.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Tan. How about CareShield Life?
CareShield Life, yes.
How is it how is it important to especially those senior people?
Okay, CareShield Life.
You,
Right now, it's open to all of us. Last time you used to, ElderShield only pays $200 to $300. Right now, you pay more than $600. You will only pay if you fail to do three things in life. Like for example, you need help, you need help to walk, you need help to wear clothes, or need help to do certain function. I have personally seen relatives who've gone through that stage, perfectly healthy. They can actually still carry on a very meaningful life. Just that you don't want the risk of falling down in a toilet and everything. So it's not that difficult to claim. I would strongly advise everyone who can afford it to actually subscribe for CareShield Life, because you may be very strong today. By the time you're 80 plus, there's a chance that you may need help. At the very least, the CareShield Life payment out of 600 a month can be used to hire a foreign domestic help to be your caregiver. And it's for life, not like ElderShield. And more importantly, why I suggest people to take up CareShield Life is, for those people who are well-planned, well-planned and relatively healthy and don't use so much on CPF, there's no other way to use your MediSave money. Because on the average, let's say assuming you already hit the maximum, your interest alone can pay for your income, your Shield plan, your MediSave, your MediShield, as well as CareShield. So why not use the money to pay for something that I would say, as our society ages, will come in handy to give you the extra $600, and you can use the $600 to hire a domestic worker to help that person. So I would strongly recommend people consider CareShield Life, simply because if you have sufficient amount in CPF, in your MediSave, you should use it for this purpose, because it's a long-term investment for yourself. So yes, I do recommend people taking up CareShield Life. Yes.
Mr. Tan, thank you for your talk. Can I have your views on individuals doing SA shielding, if they are capable of doing it, savvy enough? Okay,
I have reported the other day that the CPF may change the rule on shielding anytime. So my view is this: no matter what you do when you move shielding, my personal view is don't bother. Reason because I dislike the idea of taking out shielding. Means what? Okay, for those who are wondering what I'm talking about, when you hit 55, the initial sum of 192,000 will come from your special account. Many people want to hide that money so that instead of taking the 4% from special account, you take my ordinary account, which is 2.5%. And people who do this thing called shielding, hiding money, usually does so because your special account has got a lot more money, let's say 300,000. That's why you want to shield the thing so that they take money from your ordinary account when you hit 55. How do you hide your money? People will sign up an investment, short-term investment. So they take roughly about 300,000, put in the investment, and then later when 55 come, your 192 gonna deducted from the ordinary account. Later when this is done, you put your money back. So suddenly you have back your money in your special account that earns 4%. And the reward for doing so is that you have, because you have slightly more money in special account than ordinary account, in terms of interest alone, just on that 192,000, you will earn $2,003 extra every year. Now, the risk, like I said, I'm the kind of fellow, you see, because of my background, I will always tell you, don't always look at the good side. What if something happens? You take out your money, you shield. This is a product not guaranteed. Suddenly something happens to it. I mean, you say it won't happen, or Lehman Brothers will happen. Right? If really you are worse luck, suddenly it happened, then suddenly your hard-earned money cannot trap. So all this to earn 2,003. My question is this: if you look at it in the longer term, I don't want to earn 2,003. I want to earn as much as possible, which is to focus it in the general. So I won't consider shielding. If let's say if you are well planned, you have quite a substantial amount, shielding become less of a worry. And also another rule that, in case that you may not realize, for those who think of shielding, rules are being changed to change what we call the withdrawal sequence. I know there's an online thinking saying that, withdrawal sequence is such that you only withdraw the interest. So there are very benefits for you to keep your money in a special account. But I can tell you, let's just say the authorities also know, after a while they may tinker with the rules. And the money that you so-called shielded in the special account, the moment you withdraw money, the first dollar will come out from special account. So what I'm trying to say is that for all your effort, you may find that your effort may not be able to sustain in the longer term, because unless you don't use your money, which is, I think, ridiculous, because you must withdraw interest also. the interest withdrawal may come directly from special account first, you know. They may just change the rule because it's an entitlement. Because the rule already say when you withdraw money from your account after 55, the first dollar will come from special account first. No longer they will do this thing about interest because the question was asked last time to CPF. They actually realized that there's a bit of shortfall when people do this. So my advice, and in fact CPF's advice is you shouldn't consider shielding. Look at it as a holistic investment scheme or retirement scheme as a whole. Don't just look at special account. In fact, there's a message, there's a warning to those investment houses who actually tell people to shield. If they don't tell them the potential risk, they may be subjected to MAS caution. So my view is, as a owner, you should look at it in the bigger sense, because there's always a danger. You say that, oh, it's very minimum, but who knows, right? Suddenly you put in the money in the debt, and I mean, short of talking criticizing a company, we all know that there are very famous companies that issue bonds. Really blue chip company, you know, they are also in trouble. Many people lost money, the money is stuck. So the question is, you take your hard-earned money to gamble a few $100,000 so that you get 2,003 more. My view is there's still an element of risk. So I personally would not recommend shielding, because there's so many other ways to earn money from this, you know, and it's very safe. Because what you don't want is the worry, you know, because if you make a mistake, there goes the money. So that's why personally I don't recommend shielding, because there's always this is a risk that I would not advise people to take personally. Of course, you can do whatever you want, but maximize the 1 million first, you know, don't worry about shielding, because people who do shielding usually don't have that million, because if you had that kind of money, you won't think about it. You want to safeguard as much money as possible in your ordinary account. Any last question? If you really want to know more about really financial planning, the practical way, do consider the Straits Times Invest Masterclass, which I'm conducting with another friend. You can get the details from my colleague at the thing. So again, thank you for being readers of the Straits Times, and thank you for taking the time this Saturday to be with me today. Thank you.